Breaking news, stimulus update agreement has been reached. Now let's get into it. Top Capitol Hill negotiators sealed a deal Sunday on a $900 billion COVID-19 economic relief package, finally delivering long overdue help to businesses and individuals and providing money to deliver vaccines to a nation eager for them. The agreement, announced by congressional leaders, would establish a temporary $300 per week supplemental jobless benefit and a $600 direct stimulus payment to most Americans, along with a new round of subsidies for hard-hit businesses and money for schools, healthcare providers, and renters facing eviction. It came after months of battling and posturing, but the negotiating dynamic changed in Republicans' favor after the election and as the end of the congressional season neared. President-elect Joe Biden was eager for a deal to deliver long-awaited help to suffering people and a boost to the economy, even though it was less than half the size that Democrats wanted this fall. Biden praised the bipartisan spirit that produced the measure, which he called just the beginning. This is a model for the challenging work ahead of our nation, Biden said in a statement. House leaders informed lawmakers that they would vote on the legislation on Monday, and the Senate was likely to vote on Monday too. Lawmakers were eager to leave Washington and close out a tumultuous year. There will be another major rescue package for the American people, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said in announcing the agreement for a relief bill that would total almost $900 billion. It is packed with targeted policies to help struggling Americans who have already waited too long. Democrats acknowledged it wasn't as robust a relief package as they initially sought, or they'll say the country needs House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's vote more to come on President-elect Joe Biden's takes office. It is a first step, she said. We have to do more. A fight over Federal Reserve emergency powers was resolved Saturday night by the senators, top Democrat Chuck Schumer of New York and conservative Republican Pat Toomey of Pennsylvania. That breakthrough led to a final round of negotiations Sunday. Still, delays in finalizing the agreement prompt the House to pass a one-day stopgap spending bill to prevent a government shutdown at midnight Sunday. The Senate was likely to pass the measure Sunday night as well. The final agreement would be the largest spending measure yet. It combined $900 billion for COVID-19 relief with a $1.4 trillion government-wide funding plan and lots of other unrelated measures on taxes, health infrastructure, and education. The government-wide funding would keep the government open through September. Passage nears as coronavirus case and death spike in evidence piled up that the economy was struggling. The legislation has been held up by months of dysfunction, posturing, and bad faith, but talks turned serious in recent days as lawmakers on both sides finally faced the deadline of acting before leaving Washington for Christmas. This bill is a good bill. Tonight is a good night, but it is not the end of the story. It's not the end of the job, Schumer told reporters. Anyone who thinks this bill is enough does not know what's going on in America. The $300 per week bonus jobless benefit was one half of the supplemental federal unemployment benefit provided under the $1.8 billion CARES Act in March and would be limited to 11 weeks instead of 16 weeks. The direct $600 stimulus payments to most people will also be half the March payment, subject to the same income limits in which an individual's payments began to phase out after $75,000. The CARES Act was credited with keeping the economy from falling off a cliff amid widespread lockdowns this spring, but Republicans controlling the Senate cited debt concerns and pushing against the Democrats' demands. Republican politicians started with President Donald Trump, focused more on reopening the economy and less on taxpayer finance steps like supplemental jobless benefits. Now, progress came after a bipartisan group of pragmaticists and moderates devised a $908 billion plan that build a middle ground position that the top four leaders of Congress, the GOP and Democrat leaders of both the House and Senate, used as the basis for their talks. The lawmakers urged leaders on both sides to back off of hardline positions. We put our heads down and worked around the clock for nearly a month to produce a bipartisan bicameral bill to address the emergency needs of our country. The bipartisan group of about a dozen lawmakers said in a statement, "Our conscience bill was the foundation of this final package." Republicans were most intent on reviving the Paycheck Protection Program with $284 billion, which would cover a second round of PPP grants to especially hard-hit businesses. Democrats won set aside for low-income and minority communities. Late-breaking decisions would limit $300 per week bonus jobless benefits, one half of the supplemental federal unemployment benefit provided under the CARES Act in March, to 11 weeks instead of 16 weeks as before. The direct $600 stimulus payments to most people would be half the March payment, subject to the same income limits in which an individual payment begins to phase out after $75,000. After the announcement, Schumer and Pelosi announced additional details, including $25 billion in rent assistance, $15 billion for theaters and other live venues, $82 billion for local schools, colleges, and universities, and $10 billion for childcare. The government-wide appropriations bill would fund agencies through next September. That measures was likely to provide at last $1.4 billion installment for Trump's U.S.-Mexico border wall as a condition of winning his signature. The bill was an engine to carry much of Capitol Hill's unfinished business, including an almost 400-page water resource bill that targets $10 billion for 46 Army Corps of Engineers, flood control, environmental, and coastal protection projects. Another addition would extend a batch of soon-to-expire tax breaks, including one for craft brewers, winers, distillers. It also would carry numerous clean energy provisions, $7 billion to increase access to broadband, $4 billion to help other nations vaccinate their people, $14 billion for cash-starved transit systems, Amtrak, and airports. Democrats failed in a month-long battle to deliver direct fiscal relief to states and local governments, but they successfully pressed for $22 billion would help states and local government with COVID-19 related health expenses like testing and vaccines. The end of session rush as promised relief for victims of shockingly steep surprise medical bills, and phenomenon that often occurs when providers drop out of insurance company networks. Now, with that being said, guys, I just wanted to try something new with the channel so I can find a way to bring you guys daily content and keep you updated. Please get in the comment section. I want to pass this question off to you guys in the comment section below. How do you feel about me covering this news? I know it's a sensitive topic. I'm not picking either side. I'm just here basically news reporting to try to boost this channel and try to get into doing daily news or finding news that I can provide for you guys daily. So definitely let me know how I did. I know I screwed up on a couple of words or whatever the case may be, but hey, always room for improvement, right? So hit that like button if you enjoyed me delivering this news, and hit subscribe if you would like to see daily content going forward as far as stimulus and other important news that's not clickbait. Until next time, you're watching InfoGeek, and I will see you all later. Thank you.